All right, we are live. Melinda, the show is yours.
Wait, just my slide. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to 1 Million Cups. If you haven't logged in yet, please log in. If you have trouble logging in, which a couple of us have had this morning, just keep trying to do it, and you eventually will get logged in. If you don't, please put a message in the chat so that we can have you here today and have you on the attendance. Um, if you don't have the app, you can get it at the App Store and at the Play Store, the Google Play Store. Next slide, please. Um, we get credit for everybody signing in, and that's really important to us because we can use our credits to buy speaker gifts and other things. It's also a great way for you to network afterwards because you can go to the list and see who's been here and connect with them if you're trying to connect with them. Next slide, please. Our mission is to lower behavior of access to education, resources, and connection, meaning that we really want everybody to have a really good way to connect with each other, and we like to share our education. And it's for everybody, new and aspiring entrepreneurs, as well as professionals in the business. And welcome, everybody. Next slide, please. We run for the community. We're run by the community for the community, and we are a community organization to help entrepreneurs and rising businesses. Next slide, please. Our culture is a safe culture. We're supportive. It's all volunteer led, as I said, and we rotate new organizers often, and we are looking for more presenters. Next slide, please. 1 Million Cups has 160 chapters nationally, and everybody has the meeting at the same time, but it's not 8:45 in Los Angeles, for an example. They will be live in 3 hours. We're a mastermind organization, and we're not here to sharpshoot anybody, so we're safe and supportive. Next slide, please. Please go to your Facebook page, our Facebook page, and then share Facebook Live with your friends, and that way we can get a bigger audience. And then the other great thing is once you've signed in, as I've said, you have a way to network with everybody after the meeting. Our URL is IMC Fairfax, and that's for Facebook and LinkedIn. And next slide, please. We're here to help, and these are our organizers. So please, if you've got questions, please reach out to any of us, and we're here to help you with whatever you need some help with. Next slide, please. Our sponsors today are Office Evolution and Whitecap. I saw John Yu. Can you say a few words, please?
Great. Thank you, Melinda. Hello, everyone. It's great to see everyone this morning. I'm John Yu with Office Evolution. We are a share space provider located right here in Tyson's Corner. We provide fully furnished private office as well as a number of virtual office solutions such as mailbox and meeting room space for small businesses. Looking forward for this pandemic to be over soon so we can meet in person and showcase our space. We love supporting 1 Million Cups and all the small businesses in our local community. If you'd like to learn more about our services, feel free to reach out. Thank you.
Great. Is John Gaffigan here? I didn't see him earlier.
No, I'll speak on his behalf. Whitecap Cleaning is a new, modern, technology-based disinfecting product and service that is now in process of disinfecting your offices, your vehicles, using a non-toxic electrostatic process that ensures disinfecting up to 90 days at a time after it's processed. If you'd like more information, please reach out to Whitecap Cleaning, John Gaffigan or myself, and we'll be happy to go ahead and give you a full introduction into the service and process.
Great. Next slide, please. How our virtual meetings work. Well, first of all, once we're ready to go on to the presenter, everybody needs to mute. And the way you will ask questions is you will wave the hand, you use the hand wave icon in the chat to announce that to the moderator that you've got a question. And then once the moderator calls on you, you can unmute or acknowledges that you're next person to present. The moderator will actually say your name, that I've got Melinda, John, and Danelle next, or whatever it might be. And then once you're done with your questions, please put your mic back into unmute. And if you can keep your questions so that we can get a lot of people to ask questions to allow, let's say, a minute or so or less to ask the question, then it gives the presenter, John Partridge today, a chance to respond to what you've said. And then John, when you're ready for the next person, or if you want to, we've got a lot of people waiting, you can say, could you, thank you, and let's talk offline, and let the speaker, the person who asked you the question, contact you later. Make sure, and if you've got questions, please make sure you've got your contact information in the chat, because that way John will be able to find your information so he can follow up with you later. Great, and welcome John Partridge from Honeydew today.
Thank you, Melinda. Great to be here. I've been enjoying the presentations the last few weeks.
Cool. And you're ready.
I'm always ready. Here we go.
So next slide.
What's that?
You probably want the next slide.
Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. As I said, my name is John Partridge, and I'm the president and founder of Honeydew Today, Handyman on Demand. I'm here today with one of my great partners, Francis Fernandez, who helps run our landscaping division. And, you know, Honeydew Today is a company that was founded 3 years ago here in Northern Virginia with the goal of becoming America's handyman. And we looked at the marketplace. We were inspired, as many people were, by Uber and Lyft and the gig economy. And then we looked also at the home services industry, and we knew we weren't alone at trying to apply, you know, recent technology to home services. But we also noticed, and it was, you know, it was not hard to observe, that nobody was doing it particularly well. And so we went in and analyzed, you know, why weren't they doing it well? Where were they failing? And we tried to engineer, and I think we have a good model in which Honeydew Today solves that issue. We exist for the sole purpose of answering the question, do you know a handyman? And we do that, and we've done that for the last 3 years, and I'm proud to say we've been able to hold up to it by really sticking to 3 value propositions. One of which is we provide firm fixed upfront pricing for all of our services. We guarantee all of our services. And then what we like to say is we do it in a timely manner, and we say within the company, we've actually trademarked the phrase, we're Honeydew today, not tomorrow. And that's the 3 things that we do, and it's worked well. You know, I'm proud, and I think we're all proud in the company that in the last 3 years, you know, if we tell somebody it's going to be $100 for something, it's not going to be $100.01. And sometimes that hurts us, but we stick by our prices. And we think it avoids an adversarial relationship with the client where we're trading dollars for hours and they're wondering, are we working fast enough, and that kind of thing. I know that applies to a lot of different industries. The guaranteed repairs means that, you know, we have the manpower and the expertise to keep going after the repairs until it's fixed perfectly. There's not a debate. If it's not done perfectly, we keep going back and back until we do it. Do we like to get it done the first time perfectly? Yes, we do. But if it's not, you know, you can count on the company and the system we've created to get it done. And then, with regard to the timeliness, that's a matter of workforce development, training and supervision. And I think that is what separates us from the other home services industries or companies that are really trying to get into this space and solve it. We're not a lead platform. We're not a matchmaker. We're not a franchise. These are all great models, and we take our hat off to people that provide reviews of other people, or they sell leads to other contractors, or perhaps they try and act like Uber and Lyft and send somebody from one place to the other as quickly as they can to do a repair. But where we think they all come up short in terms of solving the question, do you know a handyman? And I'm not saying that they don't do it well with a kitchen remodel or they don't do it well with a roof. But when it comes to these small repairs, you can't just task it out and forget about it. We don't, at Honeydew today, we do, and what separates us, we do not throw up our hands and say, well, it didn't work out, we can give you another lead, or we can arbitrate between the two of you. No, we're one company up and down the East Coast. We're in 8 states, and we stand behind our services, whether it be repair, cleaning, or landscaping. And we call this the surge model. We've coined that phrase. We look at Uber and Lyft, and again, I keep bringing them up because they really were revolutionary. I mean, the idea that you could hit an app and somebody comes over and performs a service with a proven, repeatable model is really something. We were impressed, and not only for the people that use the service, but also the drivers. I mean, it was a great thing. It still is. People can have a 9 to 5, and if they need a couple $100 extra, they can do it on their schedule and go make some good money. And, we believe at Honeydew today, it's time to bring pride back in the American trades. It's good to go to college. It's good to go to graduate school, but you don't have to do that to realize the American dream. And, we think there's a way to do it in the service industries. And there's also a way, there are a lot of people out there with some real skill, and we want to harness that, and we do. And we do that with the surge model. And that takes what I previously talked about with responsibility and oversight, but it also applies, the talent that's out there. We crowdsource that talent. And we do that. We took it after General David Petraeus in the Gulf War. If you recall, not a time to get into politics or anything like that, but what his model was he had his special forces in the green zone in Baghdad, and he leveraged the Iraqi army to get a military result. And we do the same thing. We have our special forces in our cities and our collar counties of the East Coast that work for us full time, that are trained. They go through what we call Honeydew Today University, and they earn the title of handyman, which is an honorific in our company. And it's not easy to do. We don't believe that everybody gets a trophy, and only a few people have been able to attain the rank of handyman, because we don't make it easy. And what we do is we have our green zone special forces handymen, and then we leverage off of master electricians. To give a Northern Virginia analogy, we'll have a master electrician who works in Leesburg, and he has a great job, or down in Potomac Yards or down in DC, but a couple afternoons a week, he or she wants to stop by on the way home at 3 o'clock and put in a ceiling fan. And that gives us great capability, but it also gives us the oversight. And at the end of the day, it helps us answer the question, do you know a handyman? Because when somebody orders our services, we stick by our price, we can guarantee our repair. I mean, we'll replace the whole thing if we have to stand behind our value proposition. And then we're able to do it in a timely manner. A lot of times we're engineered for the real estate agent, and they're hustling and bustling and trying to respond to home punch lists when they're going to settlement. And we're able to take away some of that anxiety and the stomach acid that they regularly have with every transaction because they know we're going to show up. I mean, we have the same excuses that everybody else does. It's not that our personnel doesn't have sickness and illness and car crashes and maladies that are typically the excuses that you hear all over the place. The thing is that we have a system. We have the muscle to back it up, and we do this with electronic. And we do that. It's not glamorous. It's not the sexiest business, but it's a proven, repeatable model to get your repairs done, get them done rapidly, and not and have them at a firm fixed price. So that's really our model, and where we're going on this. And the challenge question today is that we've always been reactive as a company. In other words, you break something, you spill something, you get something dirty, your grass is too long, please get out here, honeydew, today, and we do. But now we want to be proactive, and we want to have home maintenance agreements, but we want to be able to provide the same real value that we do with our reactive services. We notice too many times that we go out and people don't they don't maintain their stuff, their decks, their siding, it rots. And it shouldn't cost them as much money as it does because they don't do preventive maintenance. So that's what we want to do. And our challenge question for today is, how can Honeydew today add value to its clients with a preventive maintenance and subscription plan? And that's what we want to do. And we've got a nice plan together, but it's a question of still getting down, and we're kind of asking 1 Million Cups to serve as a focus group to give us some feedback of what does the consumer want? What does the marketplace want? So thank you.
Great job. I heard a lot of military analogies in there. Did you serve?
I was with the government for a few years, but no, not in the military. But
Well,
I'm a historian.
Gotcha. Well, thank you for a great presentation. I'm going to pass this over to Justin to handle our questions.
Thanks, Don. Great presentation. That was a really good presentation. So first question we have here, looks like Talmar Anderson has the first question, and then I'm not sure if Melinda was clapping or was raising her hand, but yeah. So Talmar and then Melinda. Go ahead, Talmar.
Thanks, Justin. Thank you so much. Great presentation. I love what you're doing. We absolutely should connect. My husband and I started a home maintenance subscription business about 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. I have great intel for you.
Okay.
And the first thing I would tell you right off the bat is the two markets are elderly who have pride in their home, but really should not be doing it anymore. And the second market is the younger generation. The majority of them have not had the opportunity to learn how to patch a roof or paint a house, so there's a real contingency of dual income market out there that happily pay the subscription to know that somebody's maintaining that stuff. But absolutely, I'm going to drop my stuff in. It says hiring strategy because that's what I really do now. But Talmar Anderson, and I'll put that so you can follow up with me.
Excellent. Thank you. That would be awesome.
Awesome. Melinda, if you'd like to ask your question.
Sure. One of the things I was thinking about when we were talking about the proactive market is gift giving times of the year, like Christmas. So you could give your wife a subscription, a membership, or let's say Valentine's Day or a birthday or whatever it might be, even an anniversary. Good opportunities to give a subscription so that the husband can get off the hook of having to do it, or get some resources because they don't have enough time. And just coming up with other gift giving ideas and times of the year that those can be calendarized into your marketing programs may be another way to put these programs together that let people realize you can give a gift of honeydew today.
I think that's an excellent insight, Melinda. I know throughout the course of the pandemic, every time I'm Zooming, I might see somebody behind me. My wife is ordering another handyman to do something. I keep saying, you know, you can't spend all the profits this way. So yes, it's everybody needs a handyman, and you know, we do offer gift cards, and you know, this would be another thing. But a gift card, we know what the value is in that. You know, they're ordering our services. We want to really make sure that our maintenance program is something that we really don't want to have something that people go, this wasn't the greatest thing, I didn't use it, or, you know, it didn't provide real value. And that's what we're really trying to get our value propositions down, just like we did with the reactive repairs. We want to have the same thing with the maintenance. So the people, when they use us, they say, wow, that was really good. I mean, I really feel I got good value, and we're figuring that out.
Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. So now next, Deb Cohen has a question. After that, Tony Barnett.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks, John, for a good presentation. Appreciate it. So I wanted to follow up on Talmar's comment. The third audience I think you have are people who are perhaps single and homeowners and working. So, and I'll tell you what would have add value to me. So I owned a home. I worked outside the home. I was a single mom, and what I didn't have, I had money, but what I didn't have was time. Not so much time to be there for the repair, but I didn't have time to go and check 2 or 3 different places to make sure that I was getting work done that really needed to be done. And so for me, the value would have been, okay, this is somebody that I know I can trust, and I can even trust if I give them a key. And so I did have a handyman. He was very expensive, but I could trust him. And I knew if he got there at 8 o'clock in the morning, I could go to work, or I could take my son to school. And so I think there would be great value. I would have loved to have had a service like this, quite frankly. I sold my house and bought a condo because I hated taking care of it. Yep. So for value, you've got to show them, A, they can trust you, B, not just that your price is competitive, but that you don't have to go out and get 3 bids because they know that you are going to come in and fix that gutter, or, you know, repair that sidewalk, or whatever the issue was, that peace of mind. And I do think that your market is, you know, definitely looking for people who are busy working, whether they're single or married, but who just don't have the time to go out and be home 3 days in a row to check out 3 different people. And that would, and not only just that you can do it, but if you can't do it, do you have a Rolodex of people who you trust that they can trust as well?
I think that's excellent, Deb. You know, that's a really good point. I mean, I think one of the frustrations in the home services industry is being thrown into that, you know, 3 recommendation spin cycle, and it really doesn't help a lot of homeowners. It's just they got sent into another referral. When we do have things in our company that we can't do, or for whatever it might be a different line of business, we do have a mantra and kind of a culture. It's not really a system. I mean, we do have a Rolodex or a database, but as Francis knows, we have a saying, you know, at Honeydew today, you don't have to have the answer to everything, but you do have to know who does. And we've used that before we've done furniture touch up for law firms downtown, that we've gotten into expensive stuff, and, you know, different cleaning things, as you can imagine, during the COVID-19, this quarantine period, where we've been able to reach out to the top medical professors for cleaning issues. And we make it a point of really digging after the expertise to do that. But I think those are both excellent points.
Great question and great answer. Tony Barnett is next, then Jen, and then Mr. Reggie Holmes. Tony?
John, thank you. I don't know if I may have missed it in your initial presentation, but what is the current process of your marketing right now? How are you currently getting customers? Because I may have missed that in the original part of your presentation.
You know, this is handyman services is really, you know, I'll say it's an easy thing to sell. Everybody needs a handyman. It's a timeless question. It's asked everywhere. Do you know a handyman? And we do it with networking and organic digital marketing. We're out in the Facebook groups. We're out meeting the real estate agents. We're out talking in the community. We're out at the networking groups, and then we're on social media, and that's how we do it. And we stick to that. We've gone into church bulletins a few times, but really it's networking and organic digital marketing. And we're getting ready to take another step, but that's what we do.
Because one of my thoughts, because your challenge question is, how do we sit there and get this into a subscription model? How do we convert one-time customers into a subscription process? And I know from the HVAC companies that started transitioning into this over the past 7 or 8 years, what they did was they just went to their existing customers and offered them a very nice low price as kind of like a subscription holder as a priority customer. In other words, you are, for $50 a month or whatever, you're now held as a priority customer, and no matter what happens, we'll respond to you that same day or within a couple of hours because you are a priority customer. That helped build it, and then those people would get additional discounts for referrals. So, for instance, you get points or dollars towards your next service if you referred somebody.
That's an excellent point.
So I've seen that used both by Crop Metcalf and Parish Services and a couple of others, and they use it very, very successfully.
Yep, we're aware of what they do, and that's a good point to try and adopt that model or change it to use on our services.
Great question, great answer. All right, next we have Jen. I think you wrote a question in the chat, and then after that, Reggie, and after that, Sean Pastor.
Thanks, Justin.
Jen.
Hey, John, great to see you. I had a couple of questions or I guess thoughts. Some segments I would consider might be strategic partners, like maybe it's larger painting companies that don't want to spend their time fixing holes in the wall. They are better served painting, but you could go in partnership. That could be a sort of business subscription. Could be for movers if they ding stuff while they move or whatever, and they need you to come fix. Yep. So have you considered strategic partners like that to date, or how has that worked so far?
We have done that. We've looked at some, and really we're still kicking the tires. I guess the question that we get hung up on is the pricing, and we do so many different types of repairs. It's a question of how do we charge somebody something up front for us to be available, and how does that fit onto what they would request? And we want to add real value to that. We don't want to have, well, I paid and you're here, because we do respond anyway. And so we want to make sure there's added value to what we're doing other than just reactive. And that's really where it comes in. And maybe we're getting too much paralysis by analysis with it, but it's we're trying to figure that out. That's where it really comes in. We don't want people paying something for something we do anyway. We want real added value.
I might recommend just doing a focus group with some of the members in BNI, for example, and see if you can do a retainer strategy, which if it's not used, then you don't bill. And if it is, or something, but ask them how often are they fixing stuff versus, doing their core service. And I would also talk with, elder care complexes, buildings, things like that as well.
That's an excellent point. Thank you.
Great. All right, Reggie, if you want to ask your question, and then Sean Passler, and then David Horn. Reggie?
Thanks, John. Great presentation. My question / comment was just kind of thinking about where different markets are. I know that a lot of people who are in healthcare have moved to like a telehealth model. And I mean, caring for your home is not unlike caring for your health. So I was wondering if you had thought about how you might use like a telehealth virtual process in providing this maintenance service. I think that would be something worth considering. And I also think about how it sort of requires like a medical record. You need to know what could potentially happen in the future, and if like checkups would be sort of scheduled based on, let's say they initially sign up and you do some kind of walkthrough, and so your team knows where issues might be before the homeowner does. And I think that they would be sort of paying you for that expertise. And if you plan to sort of say, okay, well, this looks like it might be an issue in 6 months, let's go ahead and schedule, a follow-up, just like you would with your health. As I heard you describe in the plan, it really sort of reminded me of what you might think for healthcare. So I think that industry has some things that might be helpful as you think about how to build this out.
I think that's a very good point, Reggie. We try and do that. We put out a lot of content right now in terms of informing people how they can fix things themselves. And we do get on typically at least a couple times a day, FaceTime with somebody where they're showing us something. And, we try and help them. We like to do the minimum effective repair. As long as it's effective, if we can show somebody how to do something, there's plenty of repairs to go around. But the truth also is that it is a good marketing strategy. We want to be the location where people come, whether they use us or not, to figure out how to do things the right way and to fix it and maintain their homes correctly. And by putting out the information and being able to help people, 99% of them, come back and say, you know what, thank you for telling me how to do this, but I don't have the tools, I don't know what to get, and I don't have the skill set to do this repair. And we end up with the repair anyway. So, I mean, that is something we need to exploit a little bit more, or a lot more, and kind of define our messages, a place where people can come and, for a place for good knowledge. I mean, you don't have to hire us. It's just a place to go to figure out how to get things fixed, cleaned, and landscaped.
All right, Mr. Sean Pastor, and then David Horn.
Great, John. Well, first of all, thank you very much for the presentation. It's great. I actually have over 100 different home maintenance clients, so I know the pain kind of that you're going through right now. Matter of fact, I just had a recent conversation with Climate, which is down in Virginia, that talked literally about this exact same thing. And
we deal with them every day. They're great.
Great, fantastic guys. One of my clients, and what I'd say is this: is that just like they kind of grapple what to do in the HVAC world, and I couldn't agree more with what we had talked about a little bit earlier as far as subscriptions with what's the value. I think that's kind of first and foremost. Are you getting a value out of what the contract really is? So anytime a company comes out, they get 25% off their bill, whatever that kind of translates to or equals to has really been dynamic for most of these guys, especially for people who need the maintenance with their homes. In a lot of neighborhoods that were born in the 60s or 70s, they kind of go through those transitions a lot more and need those maintenance plans. And as you said, they kind of pass that handyman from one place to the other. One of the biggest keys is the pricing side of things. You didn't talk at all about what the pricing model is that you're looking at. What is it that you're kind of thinking about from a pricing standpoint right now? And then I got a follow-up quickly after that for you.
Sure. Right now, what we do for our reactive repairs is we've kind of borrowed from the medical community to go with what Reggie was saying, and we essentially medically code all of our repairs. As you can imagine, just take the classic ceiling fan example. Is it up on the third floor? Is it down on the second floor? We have different permutations of how the cost goes, but that's how we price the reactive repairs. The maintenance plan, I mean, we've looked at what some of the people in the area do, and we have to get better. We just have to figure it out a little bit better. We don't have a method. That's really what it is. We don't have a fixed model that we really like we do with medically coding our repairs. Medicine can code a surgery or a cancer treatment. Handyman can code, home repairs. And we realize there are many variations but we've done that, and it is a work in progress. I mean, we do all kinds of different repairs and new repairs every week. But for maintenance, we don't want to do necessarily what everybody else has done. We're looking for a way that people will, people are doing it in nutrition, they're doing it in health, they're doing it with technology. There has to be a way that will lead people to do some preventive maintenance on their homes. We don't enjoy going into somebody's home and they see that boards have been rotted out, and if they had treated it, we could get it fixed for a couple $100, but now the whole deck needs to come down. These are things that, I think we could add real value to. The pricing on it is another matter. As you can imagine, there's not real incentive to discount anything. I mean, we have a lot of repairs coming in. There's more than enough things that need to be repaired in Northern Virginia alone. So it's not really a question of discounting anything. It's a question of how do we add value, and we're trying to figure that out in terms of what people would say, you know what, that was a great idea that I did the maintenance program. And maybe it's as simple as we go out there and really explain to people, once or twice a year and do a diagnostic test on things, on appliances and different stuff. And not to get too far into the weeds, but I mean, I wish I had a penny for every time, somebody left something untightened or unscrewed and it just rattled around and got worse. And, when that happens to your house, it can lead to expensive repairs that insurance doesn't cover. And that's where we want to fill that gap.
Great. And I got to tell you, I think two things associated with that. The quarterly plans seem to work exceptionally well for my clients. Somebody who comes up with a once a quarter, we'll stop by your house. You create kind of a to-do list for us, but you almost know, without a doubt, once a quarter, all these little things that have been building up in your house are taken care of. There's also a monthly price point right around $25, which psychology experts have said, is kind of the, I don't mind spending anywhere between 20, 25 bucks a month to kind of have the knowledge that I'm protected or taken care of. So that works really well in the bug world. It also works very well in the handyman world. So the two biggest things I think for you is obviously, keeping that barrier to entry for this plan very tight. And the second thing is really that guaranteed today fix, so that if something goes wrong, works very well, as Tony had said, in the HVAC world. Obviously, if no heat, you definitely want to have somebody coming out that day. Same thing with these types of issues. If you have something that somebody can fix anything in the house, you'll call that person first. And I think that'll be great, and love to follow up with you offline to give you some more ideas.
Sean, I want to buy you lunch. We need to talk.
No problem.
Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. So next we have David Horn. After that, we have Didier Rodriguez, and then Renetta, and a few more people. So go ahead, Mr. Horn.
Hey, John. Thanks a lot for taking my question now, and thanks for the presentation before. It was really great. I've had a consumer service business, and I know exactly what you're dealing with. It was reactive, also fixing things when they were broken, and trying then to envision how to get something more on a recurring revenue model, proactively oriented instead. One suggestion for you to do is to go back into your installed base, and you've got either a cross-sell or upsell opportunity with them, or a new sale opportunity with customers you haven't had yet. But I would start with your installed base. If there are those that you can send a survey out to, or get together live on a roundtable, which seems to be working pretty well. We're all getting accustomed to Zoom, although we get tired of it too, so you don't want to overdo that. But just putting a question on the table for them to kind of mull over and let them roll with, or a couple of those, and see what they come up with. But the thing that I would be looking for is, in what repairs that you've done, is it most likely in your own record and in their mind likely to recur or have an associated issue with down the road? So your woodwork was a great example. So they had you in to fix the second floor eaves and the molding around 2 of their windows. Well, who's to say that won't happen on the first floor? And good to catch it early. That might be an opportunistic area. And then with that, you can draw up a target customer, a target need, a minimal valid product, if you will, and try offering that to see what traction you get. It might be easier to do that kind of line extension and model shift with most likely to have value foreseen in it right away installed base customers than trying to go out and capture new ones you've never had before.
Yep. I think I speak for every business. It's better to maintain your existing customers than to go attract new ones. Those are excellent points.
All right, Mr. Rodriguez, if you'd like to go, and then Ronetta, and then click after that we have, yep, if you'd like to go, Mr. Rodriguez.
Sure, hold on one second. So sorry, I should have had my headphones on. Yeah, this just helps me hear everything. So I kind of want to echo what a lot of everyone has kind of already said, and I'm just going to kind of condense it into 2 things for me listening to the presentation. Market research, really, it just comes back down to market research. One of the things that I really enjoy, I don't know if you're, who else is here is familiar with the lean canvas model. It's kind of like my lighthouse. Every time I go into even like other endeavors, I'm always looking at the lean canvas. And one of the big questions that they pose in the lean canvas model is doing that market research and really putting yourself out there and talking to not just your customers, but talking to a whole bunch of different people and asking them about different aspects of your plan, especially the subscription piece. You could have a really cool, innovative idea, but right now, especially in light of COVID, what a lot of folks have done is they've bought Hulu, they've bought Netflix, they've bought a bunch of entertainment subscriptions. And what we're looking at now and coming out of 2020 is we're looking at something akin to subscription burnout. A lot of folks are, there's even services now that are helping folks figure out what subscriptions they have so they can kill them if they're not using them. One of the hard things about I think about a handyman issue is a lot of people, and I'm in that boat right now actually, because my AC died, and I called these guys and they were like, well, we have a subscription thing for this, and I was like, no, just I have other problems. I will get to those other problems, but right now my priority is this thing. How much is this going to cost? I didn't want to hear about a subscription. That's just me. I'm just one person that you might talk to in your market research, but I would go back to that lean canvas, figure out your questionnaire, and don't be afraid of being proven wrong. Don't worry if people are like, I don't want a subscription. This is stupid. Just be ready to accept that and kind of pivot your idea when you get all your data in.
That's excellent. And we do ask ourselves the hard questions. I mean, we get things sometimes, I think it comes up, you stated so well, it comes up in the subscription model. Do you really want this? We do get requests for it, and from various places. Believe it or not, it's also something the venture capitalists want to see. They're all fine looking, they like the reactive numbers of repairs we do, but the question always comes up second, well, how many subscriptions do you have? And the answer is, well, we don't do subscriptions. And it's like, well, you need to fix that. But it's the same thing also with, a lot of people bring it up with apps. They say, where's your app? And we have an app, but we don't market it. And most people only use 5 or 6 apps at most on their phone. Are they really going to use the Honeydew Today or any one of our apps if it's only when they need a repair? So it's one of those, we're making choices of, should we have this product on the shelf, this service on the shelf? And if we do have it on the shelf, how do we make it so that it's something that they say, you know what, this is a good buy. I'm really getting value for it, because we all have, everyone does. That's why these burnout subscription things exist, because we all have stuff where it's, I got to get on this month and get rid of my apps, get rid of a few of these subscriptions that have, hanging around. So.
Awesome. All right. Next, we have Rometta with a question. After that, we have Sharon, and then Melinda has another question. We have 2 more after that. Go ahead, Rometta.
Hi, John. Your presentation was really good. I actually wanted to find out, had you thought about partnering with high-end property management groups? For instance, Bozzuto, even though they have concierge services, they do not do in the dwelling units fix it home repairs. So we've actually done events with them where they've allowed different groups to come in and present to their residents on a regular basis. And a lot of them really do appreciate having subscriptions or knowing that they have one particular person or one group coming in to do repairs and things like that. And one, they have good retention. And then for the properties that may have like college students versus, grad students, and they have a higher turnover. So you have access to more clients as well.
Excellent questions. And these are things we've had to deal with. We do a lot of work for property management associations that really, they present a separate question of, homeowners and a lot of industries will work with us under the system we've developed. We find that with property management companies, they each have their own system that they love for their individual company for repairs, cleaning, landscaping, but you have to deal with them under their system. And sometimes it's redundant. One of the things, again, that we pride ourselves with is we've really almost tried to eliminate the word, for instance, estimate in our company. We don't give estimates. We give prices, and they're firm fixed upfront prices. And we do things oftentimes to go fast off of pictures. Give us a picture of what you want assembled, what you want repaired, and that's the price, and we don't deviate from it. We go into property management companies and they want to have estimates and bids, and it's a longer process. And a lot of times we educate the property management companies on how we want to move, but it's just tell us what you want repaired. We'll give you a price within, we have a 1 hour rule on that. We'll give you a price within the hour. And so we're learning, and the government is obviously a similar thing, which we've had little luck in changing the way they want to do things. But that's the golden rule, those who have the gold rule. And so we love the property management companies. We just have to figure out that part of it. And then also how our maintenance plan would work for them.
Just with that question, I really want to make sure that I'm directing it more so as becoming a preferred vendor for the actual community, not so much with the property management group.
Yep. And we do that. We market to that.
Awesome. Next, we have Sharon. Sharon, if you'd like to ask your question, and after that, Melinda.
Yeah. So, John, have you done any kind of marketing with video before?
We've done a little bit, very little. We have a couple videos out there. We haven't pursued it the way we should.
Mm-hmm. Are they? What kind of videos are they?
Canva videos, that type of thing.
Oh, well, I was actually asking like what the purpose was, if it was like how to do something like a how-to video, or if it was a this is what we do kind of thing.
We Francis Fernandez is on the call today. We have put together several treatments on how we would, different repairs and topics that we want to discuss.
Okay.
We are getting into that. We're going to get into a lot more before and after, and a lot more how-to.
Okay.
We're boiling that down, and we've actually shot some video. Just here's how to do it at home, and here's how you do this.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I wanted to just add to your list, I guess, is the idea of doing case studies. I think I mean, I'm a video producer myself, and when people are interested in doing a marketing video, I always tell them I think the most compelling type of marketing video is a case study. So you're taking someone that's already experienced your service and has had a great experience with you and is willing to talk about it. And you show both sides. So you show the problem, then Honeydew Services came in. This is how they addressed fixing it. And it was great. That's the other side of it. And one of the things it came to mind was, I've lived in my own home now for 20 years. And after 15 years, my husband said, you know what? I'm going to get a home inspector in here. We haven't had a home inspection done since we bought the place. And it's been a while. We should see if anything needs to be addressed. He's pretty smart. So we did. We had a home maintenance inspector come in, and he saw some things that, had kind of deteriorated over the years that we would not have known about until it was too late. Just like you were talking about, well, if we would have known about this in advance, it would have only cost a couple hundred versus a couple thousand now. Those kinds of case studies are awesome. If you have clients that can tell a story like that about how you were on site and they didn't realize that this was going wrong, they agreed to make the repair. If they had waited, it would have cost X amount of dollars. Look how much money you saved. That's value right there. That's dollars. So turning that around into, why not use that money on a maintenance plan to prevent things from getting worse down the road? That putting it into dollars like that in a proactive way, I think is really going to be a compelling way to tell that story for you.
I think that's an excellent point, and it's also a really good insight on how to do that.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, looks like we have time for one more question, and those who we don't get to, please go ahead and write your questions in the chat. And Melinda, if you'd like to go real quick.
Good. I've written a bunch of things down on ideas. I love Talmar's going after the millennials, and I started thinking about training. You could put together training programs so that these young millennials who don't know how to do things can be with the handyman, and you've got some handyman that can teach others how to do the simple things like changing the screen in your HVAC every 6 months or whatever it might be. And then I started thinking about gift cards and subscriptions. They could be kind of sold together as some of the add-ons. And realtors are great for that because real estate agents like to give new homeowners a gift, and they could give a subscription or a gift card, which would work out really, really well. As well as realtors, both residential and commercial, have to go in and repair things. So they would be really good for subscriptions. And then on that subscription idea, I loved what Sharon just said, because I was thinking about what if you had the home inspector checkups as one of the things that are offered, and you put together a list of different types of services that you might want to consider using your subscription to do, and you can start planting the seed of these are the things that can be done besides the regular stuff and the preventative. So a maintenance plan that includes all these options, which is the subscription plan.
That's excellent. I mean, thank you very much, everybody, for the great insight. There's more than enough that we'll be chewing on over the next day or two. This is fantastic.
Awesome. So next, I want to just go ahead and send it over to Donnell real quick, just to ask the very last question. Donnell, if you'd like to go ahead.
John, first and foremost, thank you for allowing 1 Million Cups to help you through your issue, opportunity, or challenge. You have a great organization, and I'm looking forward to being a customer one day. I liked everything that you talked about, and how you go about doing business. But my final question is what can our 1 Million Cups community do for you?
Well, I mean, really, it's it's the same thing. I am so appreciative, and I know I speak for Francis also. Just the good tire kicking that we were able to get today, and you know, I know a lot of you, and I hope to reach out and continue to have one-to-ones and collaborate with each of you. And you know, everybody on this call just has such great insight into business. You know, it doesn't matter whether it's handyman services or whatever service or widget you're producing. A lot of business is the same, and I just appreciate the insight I get every time I'm on this call listening, whether it's for my business, but you can apply it to your own. And then when I meet each of you, you know, in our seems to be Zoom one-to-ones these days. But you know, thank you. That's what 1 Million Cups provides.
Can you do us a favor and make sure that you put your name, your business website, and your contact information in the chat? That way, people in the group can download the chat and have your contact information. We really appreciate you coming out.
Thank you, Donnell. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you again, John. Next slide, please. I want to thank everybody for their input. It was great input. And next slide, please. These are the upcoming presentations. Next week, we have Common Sense Coffee. By the way, we just put out a poll, so if everybody could take that poll, that really helps us in counting how many new people we've got. And then in October, we've got Quick Hire, A Wild Ride Pro-Life. And I believe we may have the rest of October filled, but we still need people, so please continue to get in your applications. Next slide, please. These are some of the upcoming events. Thank you, Russ, for getting us your list. There is a Zoom call this evening. I want to point it out that it's tonight. And if anybody else has any other announcements and or events coming up, please speak up or put your hand up so that we can call on you. Kalmar, you've got something.
I just wanted to promote that the 90-day bossification, 90 days to building and leading a kick-ass team that helps you make more money without working hard, starts next Tuesday. If you or a business owner knows that you're ready to surround yourself with the right people, I would love to have a conversation with you. Please reach out so I can help you, get you in the program.
Great. Anyone else have any? I've got two more people that just raised their hands. Hold on one second. Tony, did you have your hand up? Or was it Reggie and Jennifer? I'm trying to see who it was.
Yes, I raised my hand. I have a workshop tomorrow, actually at 12, through the Mason Enterprise Center on growing your business with brand voice and brand personality. So I can drop the link in the chat. I have a few spots left.
Great. Thanks, Reggie. Jen, were you the other person that raised your hand? John? You? I can't tell who it was. Next slide, please. We are part of the Coffin Foundation, and the Coffin Foundation works with communities and entrepreneurs and education, and we're all about our community in Northern Virginia and entrepreneurship and education. So thank you everybody for coming out today, and we'll be on the call if anybody has any other questions.